Welcome back to Rich Words Music, where today we're doing a fun but rather unscientific shootout and comparison of my two current favourite overdrive pedals. Here in my right hand I have the V2 of the Paul Cochrane Timmy overdrive, and here in my left I have the Greer Lightspeed Organic Overdrive pedal. I'm pretty sure that everyone watching this video will be familiar with these two pedals because they're both extremely highly regarded in the world of transparent overdrives. What do we mean by transparent overdrives? Well, basically what they do is they give you gain and they give you overdrive, but they don't radically alter the tonal character of your guitar, your pickups and your rig. So for example, if you're playing a Les Paul into a Marshall, you know what you're going to get from that setup. If you add one of these pedals to that mix, you'll still have your Les Paul and Marshall tone, but with a bit more oomph. That's what these pedals are great for, and that's what we mean by transparent. Now plug one of these bad boys in and you'll get great clean boosts, you'll get lovely low gain overdrive tones, and you'll get some pretty sweet mid gain overdrive sounds as well. And that's what we're going to test today. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the clean channel on my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 amp, and we're going to play two loops in this video. The first will be on my Fender Telecaster on the single coil bridge pickup, and the second will be on my Epiphone Les Paul on the bridge humbucker. What we'll do is we'll turn each pedal on, we'll see how they go in terms of the extremities that you can twist the knobs to, we'll get them sounding similar, we'll get them sounding different, and we'll stack them both together to see how they sound in tandem, because stacking overdrives can be pretty great too. Let me just tell you a little bit about the two overdrives then, in terms of what features we have here. Now the V2 of the Timmy has four knobs and a switch there in the middle. Here's where you turn it on and off. We have a volume control here and a gain here. We have a two-band EQ as well, a bass here and a treble here. Now for those of you who aren't 100% familiar with the Timmy, it might look like I'm turning the EQ knobs the wrong way. Well, actually these work differently to standard EQ knobs. And when you turn them up in the standard way, when you turn them clockwise, they actually remove treble or bass frequencies from your tone. So when you turn them down in the standard way, you're actually putting more treble or bass into your tone. So just, if you didn't know that, be aware of it, and it is a thing. In the middle of the Timmy here we have a three-way switch which alters the way it clips, the way it drives. In the middle here is where I normally have it set. This is the least compressed, the most natural sounding to me, and gives you symmetrical clipping. Flick it down for a bit more compression but still with symmetrical clipping going on, and flick it up for asymmetrical clipping. And basically what these pedals do is alter the tonality of the overdrive, give you a bit more grit or a bit more smoothness depending on what you want, but you're going to hear that in the loop coming up. Now just picking up the Greer Lightspeed overdrive here, we just have the three knobs on this one, so it's even simpler than the Timmy. Here's the loudness, volume, here's the drive gain, and here's the frequency control, which does the whole tonal sweep in one knob. So very simple indeed, and yet it's a superbly versatile pedal, the Lightspeed. I use it in pretty much every video I make, and it just seems to make me sound better, and it works with every guitar, every amp, every rig that I integrate it into. So a great pedal, I like it very much indeed. Just like I love the Timmy, what we're going to do now is hear them both in those two loops. We're going to hear them against one another, and we're going to hear them together, and afterwards we'll speak in a little bit more detail about them. Okay then, so that was the Paul Cochrane Timmy versus the Greer Lightspeed Organic Overdrive pedal, and I hope you enjoyed the tones. Leave me a comment if you will down there telling me which was your favourite and why, and I look forward to seeing a bit of a discussion getting going. I love both of these pedals. Now I do tend to use the Greer in pretty much every video I do, so it gets a bit more use from me than the Timmy does, but they're both absolutely fantastic and they're so versatile. You'll have heard that from the loops. You can do so much with these despite them being billed as transparent drives, and I'm pretty certain that you, yes you, watching this, no matter what kind of music you play, no matter what kind of amp or guitar or pickups are your favourite, you'll be able to integrate a pedal like this very, very easily into your rig just to give you a bit more of that sweet, sweet tone. There's plenty of other pedals that do transparent drive sounds as well. There's plenty of Timmy clones out there, and that's partially to do with the availability of the Timmy. Now these sell for around $130 in America if you're lucky enough to get one made by Paul Cochrane himself. There is also an official MXR version of this pedal now, which has made it more available, but if you want to buy a Timmy, an original Paul Cochrane Timmy in Europe, good luck with that. The rest of the world too. When I filmed this video, it's late February 2022, I went onto Reverb to see what the cheapest price would be if I wanted to buy one of these right now. $600 is about the cheapest price, which is absolutely ridiculous. But there you go, supply and demand and the current crazy world we live in. The Greer Lightspeed costs about $200 in America and about 230 euros in Europe. So it's pretty high priced in terms of overdrives, in terms of a 3-knob overdrive, but it falls into that boutique category. And for me personally, I've discussed this in videos before, and I feel like it's been worth every penny or every cent for me. Let's get on to the sounds then. So the single coil loop was done with the bridge pickup of my Fender Telecaster. That's quite a thin and brittle sound, and we were easily able to fatten that out with both of these pedals straight away. We were then able to push it up into low gain drive sounds and even into medium drive sounds. What these pedals are both also great at doing though is when you up the gain control, they retain the clarity of the tone, you know. I was really able to hear all 6 strings on the chords that I was playing. All of the picked stuff, the single notes also came through beautifully. I really think that these pedals, they really add something to an indie rock sort of a tone. And when I put them together, yeah, when you turn the gains up on both of them, you do get it into a bit of a mess, but some people like that sort of tone, and it was still usable. Not really for me, but otherwise it worked really, really well. Now, the Fender bridge pickup on the Telecaster is a bit trebly. I was easily able to dial some of that harshness out if I wanted to, and both of these pedals excelled with the Telecaster and the Black Spirit 200. When we got to the humbucking tones with the Epiphone Les Paul, that guitar almost breaks up the amp from the off, so straight away we went into low gain overdrive mode with both of these tones, and we got fabulous, fat, classic rock sounds out of these two pedals. Really, really good. That's not something that I think most people would consider using these for, but for me it sounds wonderful. And you might want to have a little bit more of a mid push if you're doing classic rock stuff, if you want to get more AC/DC authentic tones, but for me these pedals are both really where it's at. And when it came to stacking as well, they really gave you a pretty decent and pretty high amount of gain in total. It really worked for me in that context as well. And you know, they're both so versatile. We did an indie rock and a classic rock loop today, but I've done so many other videos with these pedals where you hear me playing different kinds of music and they excel for all of it. So in that sense, they sound great, they always make me sound better, and they're super versatile, and I couldn't really ask for much more from an overdrive pedal, at least for the kinds of music that I play. Now, there are a couple of minor downsides with these pedals, and I've sort of touched on them already really. Price with this one, $200 is not nothing for a 3-knob overdrive pedal, and availability with the Timmy is always going to be a problem. They're made in such limited numbers by Paul Cochrane himself that you're lucky to get one in America, and you've hit the jackpot if you manage to find one at a reasonable price in the rest of the world. Like I said, a minimum of $600 for one of these on Reverb right now, that's absolutely stupid. Luckily, we do have options when it comes to the Timmy, because a couple of years ago, Paul Cochrane got together with the good folks at Jim Dunlop MXR to come up with the MXR Timmy, which is virtually identical to the real thing in terms of tones. So this pedal is now obtainable in MXR form. If you're interested in finding out more about these two pedals in conjunction with one another, I do have a video on that where I shoot them out together. You can see that by clicking on this link when you've finished watching this video. The other downside is that I would just like these two pedals to be able to do a little bit more. There are so many amazing tones in the Lightspeed, for example, that I use in every video. I would love it if it was a double-sided pedal, or if there was a deluxe version, for example, where I just had a second switch, a second channel if you will, or just a boost, something like that, to give me more of the Lightspeed without having to tweak the knobs. The same goes for the Timmy, although there is a Tim version of the Timmy available as well, which is larger and has 2-foot switches and gives you a few more options. Again, if you want to hear me talk random stuff about wanting a larger Greer Lightspeed pedal, there's there's a link to that video there as well. But apart from that, these two pedals are where it's at for me. They're pretty much perfect in what they do. I wouldn't change how they're voiced. They sound fantastic for me in any context. I really, really enjoy them. If you're looking to get a transparent overdrive pedal into your life and are not sure which one to go for, I would 100% recommend both of these. But if you've got less money or if you're looking for other options, well, there are thankfully very many indeed. So if you want something specifically Timmy-esque, you've got the Lightspeed, which does sound fairly similar, but you've also got some clones from many other companies. There's a super cheap one by Kaleen or Saline or however they're pronounced, called the Pure Sky, which is a great pedal. There's more boutique, super expensive clones of the Timmy, which cost a lot more than the Timmy, by companies like Vemoram, and there's many others. In terms of transparent overdrives as well, you don't have to just go into the Timmy sort of direction. You can go in the Blues Breaker direction, for example, and there you've got things like the Analog Man King of Tone, the Wampler Pantheon, and so on and so on. If you Google or YouTube search transparent overdrives, or simply look at my channel actually, you'll see plenty more videos of transparent overdrive pedals in action. If you've got any questions, by the way, about which might be the best for you, shoot them down in the comments and you'll get answers from me and hopefully some others, and we'll get a little discussion going about which one might be the best. I hope you've enjoyed this video then, and I hope it gave you a decent A-B comparison of the Timmy and of the Greer Lightspeed Overdrive pedal. I love both of these pedals and I wouldn't want to choose one over the other, but if I did have to choose one, I would simply choose the Greer for me, because I am at the moment using it every single day and I just don't use the Timmy as much. That might change in future though, who knows. Stick with the channel to find out more, and if you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, drop me a like and a subscribe, because it does help me grow the channel. It helps me grow this little community of people who seem to enjoy the videos that I'm making over here on Rich Words Music. And let me know as well in the comments, are there any other transparent overdrive pedals that I should try? Are there any Timmy types or any Lightspeed types that I haven't covered on the channel yet that I should look at? Let me know, and I look forward to checking those out in 2022 and beyond. If you're still here, there's probably a couple of nice videos being recommended to you here and here that you could watch afterwards, or drop me a sub if you like as well. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich for Rich Words Music, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.